seems to, really not know anybody in particular that fits the bill per se, but he's helping as best he can.
Ah, okay. Um. Oh. Uh. Okay. Never mind. We're good. It was recording. Sorry. All right. I will. I guess. Where are the commercial districts?
Well, the closest one, you could probably just go down the road, 3-4 blocks. And he kind of gestures off to the left as you would be exiting the Double Moon.
Oh. Okay. Tell you what. I'll have one small half stagger. Before I go, and then I'll. No, that's not a Hofsteiger. What the hell was it? What is Hofsteiger? That's a German thing, isn't it?
No, it's the city up at the north.
Oh, that is. Okay. One Bjelkesen from Hofsteiger.
There you go.
Sorry.
You're going to introduce it like Tiberius now?
Yes. I would like one Bjelkesen from Hofsteiger.
Alright. And, yeah, he pours you your mead and slides it down the bar for you.
I pick it up and just literally tip it up, and you don't see it come back down until it's empty.
Alright.
And I'll set it down on the counter and say, alright, and I guess I'll slip him, what was this? I'll slip him a gold.
Have a wonderful day!
And you to you as well. And I will head off in the direction he, motioned.
Alright. What's everybody else doing?
Yeah, Phil, what are you doing?
I said I was following Taylor, but if...
I'm giving you shit.
Well, then I'm following you.
Okay.
I already have my spices. I'm just dehydrating my cactus so I can put spices on it and sell it. I'm waiting on the Tuscans to get back to me. There's nothing more I need.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I could look around for magic staff, but, those are like 10 grand or more. 60,000 gold. Could rent a fucking house for that much.
I mean, we could go back to the arena.
But we don't have Mayamiko.
Mayamiko is the one who lost last time.
In unlikely circumstances.
Me and Trogdor kicked ass.
We could.
We fucking melted people.
We could go back to the arena.
No, I'm not until I hit level 7. I mean, what?
Wait, so if I go to the arena, am I allowed to turn into a bear?
You can vaguely recall the cranky old woman's voice saying, "No magic!"
I mean, it's not... it's not technically magic, it's more nature.
It's druidic magical powers.
I'm considered divine and I can't use it.
I mean, you could.
No, I just... Bam.
Actually, once I'm an archdruid and have 1,000 forms, I can, basically have bear arms.
Yeah. You have the right to bear arms.
I can be like a gnome with bear arms.
I can just see a gnome walking around on his hands, on giant bear arms. Just using his hands to walk around.
I'm gonna do
When you said bear arms, it made me think of a gnome with the sleeveless shirt.
A gnome with a cutoff.
Yeah.
Tattoo.
Yeah. He's got... Where the robe normally has a smiley face on it, he rolls it up, and there's just another identical smiley face on his arm.
Alright, yeah, if we want to go to the arena, we can. I'm gonna continue dehydrating my fruit.
No, I'm not gonna go to the arena.
I wouldn't mind if
did
we
we...
used weapons.
What?
So I wouldn't mind if we could use weapons or magic.
Well, what did we, what did we have to do otherwise?
We could... Is there anything, essential to the story you were planning on doing today, Eric?
You don't know.
Well...
I think we were gonna go ask for information on the tablet to...
There was that.
Yeah, fuck it, let's do that.
All right, well, you guys do that. I'm gonna go find this waif that I gave money to. Make sure he's actually studying.
Well, I'm still following Togai, so if he's going to find the waif, then I am as well.
I'm gonna find the waif, then I'll also hunt around for that tablet at some point, maybe.
I'm carrying the dang thing.
You would be carrying it.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably not something you just want to leave sitting around, you know?
Well, I guess. I mean, we don't even know what it is. It could be like a fucking giant nursery rhyme.
So we found out it was the thing you could use it to open up portals to other dimensions.
So it's like the spell that druids get.
Yeah, I think so. From what we made of it.
Congratulations, you have found a giant stone tablet of plane shift.
Well, I don't even need to use a spell slot for it.
Oh no, I'm just giving you shit. It's just a giant stone tablet that is.
I don't exactly how do you.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you can stay at the inn if you want. We can come get you. So you don't have to carry a giant stone around.
I can carry it.
Okay.
Have it like tied to my back, like the barrels. Just leave the barrels.
And just for reference, you guys did put it in the bag of holding last session.
Oh, did we?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because remember, I'm like, as you put the thing in that fucks with dimensions into the other thing that fucks with dimensions,
Yeah.
it fits in just barely, but it fits, and it's in there.
Okay.
We were all like, oh god, please don't create a black hole.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection. Okay. So,
I didn't
you're
even
not
think
carrying
about
a
it.
giant thing then. So, I will head to the commercial district that he mentioned, and see if I can find like the most, not necessarily like poor looking, but you know, find like a kid that looks like just a street urchin that's kind of sitting around.
Okay.
I want to find a little boy.
Fetch me a young boy.
Yeah, Percy style.
Paladin boy.
All right. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Perception. Hey, I got a lot better on that since last time.
Magic.
I had like
right.
no proficiencies. So anyway.
Yeah. So looking around, you see a young boy in sort of tattered clothes, sitting sort of off in an alley that shoots off from the main street that you're walking down. He's just kind of huddled there, gnawing on a piece of bread.
Huh. I mean, does he look like he's watching people, or is he just kind of sitting there gnawing on bread?
I mean, he certainly seems to be taking in his surroundings. It's not like he's completely oblivious. He just sort of, his eyes will every once in a while rise and just kind of, dart back and forth, looking around, making sure that, he's not in any danger or anything of that nature before going back and just, bread.
Okay. And you said he's off down a little ways down an alley.
Yeah, I mean, like barely even off the road. Like he's kind of like just around the corner in the alley, kind of making sure that he sits out of the way of traffic.
Okay. Is there another way into this alley?
Well, from this vantage point, you don't know until you. I mean, you can walk far enough down the street to kind of look down the alley if you'd like.
Yeah. I'll do that. Like, so I'm standing and looking straight down the alley.
Okay. Yeah, the alley itself seems to kind of branch in a few different directions. There seem to be a number of them that kind of spiderweb out from the main street, but you can see down at the opposite end of the alley the pretty standard flow of traffic, and you get the impression that eventually this will spit you out on a different main street, so to speak.
Okay, well, I'm going to find a different way to get in, and I would like to stealth into that different way and kind of sneak up, essentially behind the kid, and stay stealthed as the best as I can.
Okay, bear in mind he does have his back to a wall.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to kind of sneak up.
Does that mean I have to stealth too?
Unless you want to hang out.
I want to continue walking down the street and go in another entrance, and I want to sneak away, not from you, but from everybody else. So I guess
to follow you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So.
Oh Lord. Well.
Indeed.
Clang, bong bong. He runs into some trash cans. Just a random trash can out in medieval desert city.
There was one item in the street that you could hit. You hit it.
Walking across the street, he kicked a rat and just.
All right, so yeah, you walk by this alley that you see the little street urchin kid kind of sitting in eating his bread, and next chance you get, you kind of swing around what you can tell is kind of the opposite side of the same building. You cut back around, and as Togar darts silently from shadow to shadow, Bungdo and Trogdor are sort of a comedy of errors behind, knocking over jars and bumping into walls. Like, Trogdor with his heavy armor kind of presses himself up against a wall, and you just hear the scraping of the stone wall against his metal armor.
Falling too close behind and hitting him with his staff by accident.
We're the reason you're so stealthy. No one's focused on you.
You guys are just drawing all attention. At some point in there, you just hear.
So yeah, Trogdor like tries to sneakily, poke his head around the corner, and you just hear the. His head kind of cranes around. And at that point, like as soon as Bungdo and Trogdor follow Togar around the corner, the kid looks over. He's just kind of staring at you, like suspiciously.
I'll just turn around and berate Trogdor and just say, smooth as a cactus. And in Thieves' Cant, I say, directed towards the kid, information with like a question, upward inflection. So basically asking if I can get it, if he has any information.
While this happens, I would like to pole jump over Trogdor to land in front of him with a flourish.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and make. Since you're pole jumping, that's kind of a strength thing. Let's call that an athletics check.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Not too bad.
You're gonna just get up above my shoulders, but not high enough, and you're gonna hit your crotch on the back of my head.
Well, I mean, I can jump off of your head.
He's pole vault up to his shoulder and stand on it, and then just pull your staff and jam it down in the crook of where his neck and shoulder meet, and just pole vault off of him.
Ow.
So I'm gonna say Bungdo kind of takes a running start and attempts to pole vault over Trogdor, mostly clearing him, kind of catching the back of his head with his foot, and he sort of starts to tumble midair, and manages to kind of roll and land on his ass, but then at least kind of sort of purposefully looking, continue rolling up, and it's not exactly a flourish, but it's better than face first.
Maybe save it.
Eric.
let him fail one more time.
Go ahead and make a dex save.
Oh, boy. Well done.
So as he finishes the not so graceful land on the butt and then kind of lean forward to act like he totally meant to do that, he loses his balance and actually falls backwards back onto his butt. And just,
It was worth a shot. Oh, what are you looking at? Go back to your business.
I just look slowly over at Bungdo.
Dude, I have to practice this to be good at it. Then
With-
Bungdo will literally be like a ninja gnome.
But I look back to Bungdo with just this look of, the fuck are you doing? And then I just look back to the kid, the waif, and again in Thieves Can't say, I'm looking for somebody. And in actual speak, I'm just kind of babbling about the weather and climate and just, yeah.
I
know,
assume
stuff
we
like
don't know what Thieves Can't looks like.
You know, well, I'm talking. So I'm just I'm essentially just shooting the shit. But to him, or anybody who speaks Thieves Can't, I'm asking for information.
Oh, okay.
So it's essentially like I'm speaking another language, but you guys don't realize.
It's a language within a language, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, yeah, the kid kind of continues on the conversation, talking about the weather and stuff. But in Thieves Can't, he does turn or respond. Who are you looking for?
I say a waif named Rabium or Rabim. Is it? I can't.
Rebbeim.
Rebbeim, that one. Named Rebbeim. Came into town a couple days ago, and I'm just looking to locate him.
All right. Not even really needing to say anything else, he just kind of gestures with his head toward the building against which he is leaning or sitting.
I flip him a gold,
All right.
and I will walk out back into the thoroughfare and locate the door to this building.
All right. So as you kind of weave your way through the crowded streets of this, kind of business district that's coming to life in the morning, you see a kind of crudely fashioned wooden sign hanging over the door that reads "Born and Bred." Bread being like the thing that you eat, not bread.
Okay.
And yeah, you do see the door, and it's a little bit weathered. The whole building seems a little on the older side, but certainly still standing and still functional.
Alright, I will go inside.
All right. So there's kind of a loud grating squeak as you swing the door open. And as you enter, you see the interior of this building is almost all carved. So instead of having portable, semi-portable shelves and tables and things, as much as can be just carved from stone is that way. So like all the shelves you see are just kind of embedded in the walls. The countertops kind of rise up from the floor. Almost everything here is in one piece. And
All the shelves are in one piece together.
Well, it
So,
looks like
you know,
basically
it's kind of hard to hear Phil at this point.
This better?
Yeah.
So are they like alcoves then?
Yeah, sorta.
Okay.
what I'm imagining is it looks like somebody took like just a giant 2-story slab of rock and just chiseled out.
Well, I'm imagining the tombs in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Where it's literally just like shelves
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, kind of. Not quite as tomb-like, but other than that, you know.
Yeah.
There's more bread and less dead.
But yes, and you see a pair of old folks kind of sitting, looking like they're kind of just enjoying their breakfast.
Curious, and it's not important, I suppose, but how old?
Feels like Vox Machina. He doesn't like old people.
Cute combat sequence. Yeah. A pair of humans, probably early to mid 70s.
Oh, they're like my age. Actually, I think they're younger than me. Bungo's like 76.
Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of standing at the what looks to be the front counter, kind of checkout area or whatever you call it. You see a human female, looks to be in her late 30s. She's kind of wearing flour-stained, kind of loose-fitting clothing. Already looking pretty tired, even though it's probably 9-10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Gonna go take her third nap of the day.
I don't see Rabiam. Or what the fuck is
Rebam.
Rabiam? That's it. I don't see Rabiam anywhere, do I?
No.
Alright, I guess I'll walk up to the girl behind the counter. Well, actually, first of all, I'm gonna just, as soon as I step in, just take just a nice long sniff. What do I smell?
Oh yeah, it smells like, you know, a bakery. Lots of freshly baked bread and pastries. You get a nice whiff of cinnamon, and you look around and you do see that there are a number of different pastries laid out kind of across the counter by which this human woman is standing. Looks like cinnamon rolls and donuts of sorts, different types and shapes of bread. Yeah, lots of tasty treats to be had.
Alright, I'm going to walk up to the counter and say, did you make all these?
Taking a moment to respond, but eventually kind of snapping out. Just, well, they did have some help.
Oh. Okay. I'm actually looking for somebody. I was told that I might be able to find them here. Do you happen to know Rebam?
Maybe. What's this about?
Nothing. I was the one who I helped them out in the desert, and
One moment, and she kind of just cuts you off and heads to the back room. And, after like maybe a minute or so, she comes back up, and you do see Rebam wearing kind of this lopsided, crudely fashioned chef's hat, also almost entirely covered in flour.
so as soon as I see him almost entirely covered in flour, I chuckle a little bit. Rebam, I see you. You actually did go through with it. You took that gold and got yourself a place doing some cooking.
Yes, I did. Still not the greatest at it, and he kind of gestures over to what looks like kind of a trash can kind of thing in the corner, and you see a number of kind of charred and blackened loaves of bread and pastries and such. But He
Is
kind
it
of
like the
smiles
garbage?
uncomfortably.
Is it garbage specifically full of just bread?
I mean, there's some other stuff in there too, but you can see that probably, it's probably about half full, and of that half, it's probably 75% burnt shit.
Is there like something one sitting on top that looks like it wasn't thrown away too long ago?
Yeah, you see this uh, picture like a loaf of Italian bread kind of thing,
Yeah. And is it
just
so it's
sitting
just
there on
sitting
top.
there?
Like a
Uh-huh.
baguette.
I'm gonna walk over and break it just a piece off the top and say, "Oh, that can't be that bad," and take a bite.
It it tastes like something that's been sitting on the bottom of an oven for like a few hours.
Could do a couple less hours on the bottom of the oven, but other than that, it's not bad.
Indeed.
Well, it's good to see that you're, you found a place. And I hope he's not causing any trouble. And I look back at her, at the girl.
And she says, "Oh, no, not at all. There's certainly a learning curve for these things, and he's only been here 2 days now, so he's doing just fine.
Okay.
And thank you. He did tell me what you did for him out there. No, that was very kind of you."
Oh, yes. By the way, we have not been introduced. My name's Togar Hammerstriker, and I extend my hand.
All right, and yeah, she reaches out her hand and says, "And my name's Mia Oatbend."
Is the girl behind the counter the old one?
No.
No, she's like in her one. That's the one that we're having the conversation with right now.
Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. Bungdo introduces himself and gives a obnoxious bow and then winks at her.
And what was her last name?
At your service, miss.
It's Oatbend, like oat, like oatmeal, and bend.
Bend? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And then once Bungdo is done just interrupting the middle of our conversation to introduce himself.
Well, we were doing introductions.
Oh, I know. It's completely fine. I'm just saying. It's like during which I just stop and like kind of stare at Bungdo while he's talking and bowing and just
Doing all of my Bungdo things.
yes. And then I look back and then I'll just say, "Oh, are you the owner of the Born and Bred?"
Indeed, I am.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making notes.
Noticing that he's actually trying and he's like trying to improve his life and not be a thief anymore, I'm gonna reach into my coin purse, take out 12 gold, and hand it to the woman, and say this is for his training.
And yeah, with that, she takes the gold. And says, "Oh my goodness, thank you very much. How did he? Well, I mean, I heard the story, but must be some sort of divine intervention to have come across such noble individuals as yourselves."
Bungdo blushes.
No,
Well-
it's just I saw potential, untapped potential, and there was definitely room for him to grow and to learn, and he didn't need to waste his life stealing. I've seen too much of that as as a shop owner, and I just kind of tell her I used to be a smith, basically back in Dagwadar.
Okay.
And I've seen enough of the youth, turning into thieves or sell swords or killers for nothing other than a few measly pieces of bread. And, obviously it's a little different than here, but it's same bird, different feathers. I think that's an expression. If it's not, I'm making it one.
We got one.
An old dwarven expression.
Yeah.
Same rock, different stones.
Yeah, well, you can't judge an ore by its rock sedimentation.
Indeed.
But anyway, I just and I will actually I'll take 50 gold out of my, just count it out of my coin purse, put it in this pouch, and I'll give it to her and say, "This is
What? That's so much gold,
Didn't you already give him like 50?
right?
No, I'm just gonna say this is good. This will pay for me and my friends to eat some here, and the rest is going to be used also for his training."
And she takes that, and at this point she's like, she doesn't have enough hand space to like hold all of this, and she just kind of carefully arranges the money on the countertop and says, well, bless your souls, every single one of you. Feel free to come by, and anything you wish is
Well,
covered. You
excuse me.
certainly. Yes.
If possible, do you think you could chop this cactus that's dried up into bread with the dough, and then with some cinnamon here, and make cinnamon cactus bread?
An interesting idea, to be sure.
It
Not
might
something
not turn out well, but who knows?
I'd certainly be willing to try.
For science, of course.
Sure.
Also, my friend Bungdo here is aspiring to start up a business of sorts. So we may be bringing some interesting fruits and such by every now and then, and possibly may come up with some new food choices. Help you guys.
Well, that certainly sounds interesting. Be willing to help in any way that I can.
Okay. I'm gonna have a giant cinnamon roll, like the biggest cinnamon roll that she has.
All right. And yeah, she kind of leads you over to that part of the counter, and essentially lets you just choose the one that you want. And yeah, you have yourself a big ass cinnamon roll.
Is it good?
Oh, it's great.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of the one with the cactus, but never mind. Had me at cinnamon. Oh, by the way, I gave her one of my flyers
Okay.
for the Fair Tinker Mercantile.
Mm-hmm.
I guess as I introduced your business, you probably gave her one.
Sure.
We're gonna have some cinnamon cactus bread, and it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Oh, we will. We'll come back. So, and I am eating my cinnamon roll. So whatever you guys want, I paid for. So whatever Trogdor wants. Just a giant dragonborn. Oh, by the way, this is Trogdor. He, I don't know. He's usually a lot more talkative than this.
He's our pet.
And no, he is not. And then I point
Pleasure to meet you, Trogdor.
Did you bring Kex with you?
I mean, probably.
I guess.
And this little guy here is his name is Cox.
Sorry, when I said pet, I meant him.
I look over at Bungdo. I look back at her and I kind of whisper, "I think Bungdo is actually the pet."
I hit him with my staff.
I don't care. I just laugh.
All right.
And then I'll look over at Rabeam, and say, we'll probably be back before we leave out of town. But I will definitely be back to check in every once in a while and to have another one of those delicious cinnamon rolls.
And cactus bread.
And cactus bread.
I haven't.
And then, huh?
Make pastries with star fruit.
You can
Are you
by the
suggesting
demo.
this out loud?
Yeah.
Another interesting idea. I can't say that one's crossed my mind before either. Well, I'd certainly be willing to give it a go.
Okay. I look at Trogdor. Do you have any starfruit?
I think all we have left is in the bag of holes.
No.
Rip.
Well, we'll have to go get Maya and get some starfruit. We will return. We'll be back at some point before we leave.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you again.
Okay. All right.
And before you leave, Rebellion does walk over to Togar and just specifically thank him for kind of setting this whole chain of events in motion.
Just don't disappoint me. Keep up with your studies. I have.
Christ.
What?
No pressure.
No.
Don't
I'm just saying.
disappoint me.
Just keep doing what you're doing, and I have a feeling you could become a great chef one day.
Do not bring me dishonor.
No.
Do not dishonor me.
It's more like the dwarven thing of like, you know.
Tiger dead.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But
All right.
I will return periodically and check in on you and see how you're doing, and we'll you know, I may have some business propositions later on. And I look back at Mia when I say that. But I just right now we're
He has business propositions.
right now we're yeah.
It's not Togar's fair tinkery.
No, but I got my own business propositions.
Togar's fair tinkery.
Bootleg version.
I was thinking Togar's tasty biscuits. No.
Tasty biscuits. Tasty.
But all right. Are you guys getting anything? To Bundo and Trogdor.
Hopefully laid, but that's about it.
You just hear a resounding.
It would appear that Mia is just pretending to have not heard that.
All right, Trogdor.
What?
Did you want anything?
Save room for the starfruit base.
Well, you have to give her starfruit to be able to get it.
Yeah, I'll wait until then.
Okay. And I guess we will leave them.
All right.
So that being done and stuff, I look at Trogdor and say, well, now I guess we should probably go get the bag of holding from Maya so we can go get the tablet checked out. Any objections?
No, sounds good to me.
Yep.
Alright, I guess we'll do that then.
All right. So yeah, you head back about 3.5 blocks down to the Double Moon and find Maya there, eating a breakfast of fruit, and you do see a what looks like an empty glass next to her. Not sure what was in there, but yeah. So she's sitting there, and I'm just gonna plan and kind of get going.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk up to Maya and say, "Oh, how was your breakfast, Maya?"
It was good.
That's good. I found Rebam. That was the kid that we rescued. He's actually about 3 blocks down at a bakery. So he's actually doing what I told him to do. So I think that it's good. It's a good thing.
All right. So, what's the plan next?
We are going to go see what kind of information we can dig up about Trogdor's giant, well, stone tablet. If you want to come, you
Right.
can. If not, you can stay here and meditate.
All right. After kind of pondering for a second, she decides that she's going to go with you guys.
Oh, okay.
And so she finishes her last piece of fruit and stands up from her seat at the bar. And you're good to go.
Okay. I wave hi to Nalune, and then head out. I guess we'll head out.
All right. And as you're heading out, you just hear, "Be safe, my friends."
As always. By the way, Nalune, if a person named Rebeam comes in, do take care of him. We'll I can cover whatever he can eat.
Take care of the tab when you get back.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, words. All right. And he's like, "Okay, no problem."
So, and then I guess we'll head out.
All right. So you head out. Where are you going from out?
Away.
I'll poke my head back in. Hey, Nalune, another question for you. Where would we go that might have people who are good with history or magic?
I mean,
Strokes his big bushy beard. And yes, Bungo probably would know. This
yeah,
question.
just because of the sage thing.
Oh. Well,
So there's
Bungo
that.
can pipe in.
Well, Bungdo knows. I don't know.
Oh.
Well, we
But,
could go here. And then I point in a direction.
I'm gonna go the opposite direction.
All right. And what Bungdo would know is essentially that the kind of ruling caste of Strassa, or at least the the nominal ruling class in Strassa, which is largely founded in the local church and religious organizations, has a massive library piled in the what essentially acts as a capitol building. It's the large domed structure that you've been kind of circumnavigating your whole time walking around Strassa.
Oh. So, Bungo, you think we could just go in there and get it? Find out what we need?
Well, you know, there is a giant library here in town. We could go there.
Actually, I didn't know that. I'm glad you said something.
Well, then let's bloody go. And I start walking towards it.
Okay. I'll just follow and step behind him.
Okay. So, yeah, not being too far from the center of town, being at the Double Moon, you make it there probably in like 5-10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I look at Bungo. Do we just walk in, or do we knock, or?
I just
This
walk
one
in.
Bungdo doesn't know so well, but
Bungdo
yes,
just walks in.
Okay, I follow his lead.
All right. So let's. You're entering from inside. The Double Moon is on. Okay. So yes, you walk in through these quite ornately fashioned doors that you can see, much like the spires that kind of surround the building. There are a number of flights of carved stone stairs that lead up to the various entrances of this building. The set that you walk up and then enter the door brings you to this large kind of entry hall. And it looks as though it essentially goes on until what you would guess is the midpoint of the building. And all along this massive hall with glistening marble stonework throughout, you see a number of archways that seem to branch off into different wings of the building, so to speak. There's not a whole lot to actually indicate where any of these places lead, however. You do see a number of guards posted about. So, yeah, actually, right next to where you walk in, there are a pair of armored guards, very similar to those that you saw in your showdown with the mysterious criminal that you helped to apprehend. And beyond that, there are a number of what look like just upper-class Strassen individuals walking around importantly.
Oh, okay. But nobody seemed to pay us any mind as we just walked in.
Not really. It doesn't seem that you've done anything to incite violence or anything like that.
Okay.
Bungno cast produce play. Rip library.
Bungno would cast produce playing in a library.
Is this the thing that Bundo is doing?
No. That's
Okay.
a joke. I would never do that in the library.
I cast produce play.
Bungdo does appreciate knowledge. To an extent.
But, okay, well, I look at Trogdor. This is going to be more your expertise or Bungdo's
Well,
as to finding out information about this.
I'm not very good at remembering things.
Well, Bungdo starts walking around the library.
Well, you gotta find the library first. The tricky
Oh,
part.
I thought the entire building was.
No, the building that you're in is essentially the Capitol building of Strassa. And within it, somewhere, there is a library.
So, do we see anyone that works there?
We did.
You see the pair of guards that are posted at the doors, and looks like there are a few more kind of patrolling along with the what look to be nobles walking around.
Are these like Canadian guards that can't move, or can they like move and talk to you?
I mean, really, there's only one way to find out, I guess.
Yeah,
So I walk up to the nearest guard and stand in front of him. And what kind of weapon does he have?
He has a mace down at his side, and you see what looks like a light crossbow across his back.
So I stand in front of him, and I just kind of like put my staff at my side, holding it up, like not up in the air, but like just, it's...
All right, and after like 5-10 seconds, when it started getting uncomfortable, he just kind of looks down and says, "Can I help you?" You mean the Holy Atheneum? Right. And he gestures down the hall to the right. And yeah, that's about as descriptive as he gets.
It was
that
called
way.
What? The Holy
The Royal Atheneum, I think.
Atheneum?
The Holy Atheneum.
Oh, it was Hoyle. Oh, like Hoyle.
IUM?
So I just say thank you and do a little bow again, notchiously as usual, and start walking.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
All right.
I will follow.
Me as well.
All right.
I will ask, actually, before we leave, I'll say, like, visitors are allowed to go into the library, or go to the Holy Atheneum, correct?
And he says, yes, but only a select few may remove tomes from the Atheneum itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not to worry. Okay, thank you. Then I will just kind of give them a head nod and turn and follow them.
All right.
Bungo.
Okay. So yes, you embark down the hallway toward which the guard gestured, and as you walk, there are a number of kind of small alcoves carved into each side of the hallway that used to kind of trace the uh, uh, rounded structure of the building. Um, Inside of these, you see a number of pedestals with various historical relics and such kind of just set on them for display. A number of old rusted weapons, pieces of armor, a few what look to be very, very dated scroll encased in glass and other such things. Um, as you continue around, you eventually do come to an archway on the left side of the hallway. Um, and as you peek inside, you can see what is, at least to probably to all of you except Bungdo, the single largest library you've ever seen. There are just rows upon rows of massive wooden bookshelves that stand upwards of 15, 20 feet high. This system of rails kind of traces the whole thing, and you see a number of ladders that can kind of be brought all around to access whatever information is needed. And at the far end of the chamber that you're looking into, you see that there's a flight of stairs. At that point, you follow those up, and you see that there are another 2, maybe 3 floors of the same. Clearly not with the central portion of the. They're just rings of railed balconies that just stretch up, up, and up. And you can tell that this Atheneum, this library, is just mind-blowingly full of knowledge. So, what are you doing?
Is there a desk in the library?
Yes, as you walk in, on both your left and your right, you see desks that kind of just sit in the front corners of the Atheneum with 2 or 3 what look to be librarians or attendants of some sort, kind of staffing them, organizing things, writing notes, all that stuff.
Okay. I will walk up to the nearest one. And
All right.
just stand patiently and wait until somebody addresses me.
All right. And okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
All of us, or
Well, I was going to say just Togar. So,
Pretty perceptive.
yeah. Actually, Togar does notice that in addition to the countertop, there is sort of another smaller like window, kind of carved into the face of the desk that, well, you know, the front of the desk that faces out towards
Yeah.
visitors. And peering out from there, you do see a looks to be a gnome, and she just says, "Can I help you?"
Oh, yeah.
yes, looking for a book. And I start speaking in English.
What's funny
Oh
is
yes.
I look at Bugno and I say, "Hey, this is I got this in Gnomish."
Bungo looks at him.
I I just have a shady grin, and I just kind of motion for Bungo to continue. You would speak the one language I
like
speak.
the way I'm thinking of how Bungdo looks right now is that he's just kind of like looking at him with like a completely blank face, but his lips kind of quivering, and his eyes kind of like wide and sad.
And then I motion, like I said, I motion for Bungdo to continue.
So I turn back to him and I'm like, we're looking for a book.
Right? What kind of book?
And I look back expectantly to what kind of book do we need?
We're looking for a book on, probably something with desert.
Yes.
Related, like the history of the desert.
Anything, history, languages, anything on the desert.
Preferably around Paladins of Bahamut.
Precisely.
And but yeah, and then I look over at Trogdor, and at this point, we've all been speaking in Gnomish, I assume?
Yes.
So it's just...
So all of us just turn around and look at Trogdor at once.
I look at Trogdor and I say, this tablet, it's a Bahamut. It's a tablet from Bahamut, isn't it?
I believe so. From what I know, it is.
What other things would you be able to tell us about it? Like, what other things do you know?
Opens up portals to other dimensions?
I look back at the gnome behind the counter. That's about all we know. Do you have any books that might be able to help us?
She just kind of holds up a finger and ducks back behind the desk for and you hear her kind of like rifling through just reams upon reams of listings and just trying to figure something out to help you out. And she comes back after probably a good 5 minutes, and says, well, I'm afraid we don't really have anything that necessarily encompasses that, but well, it sounds like you might be looking for something maybe related to the Dragonborn emancipation?
I look at Trogdor.
Certainly try.
and being a Dragonborn, I would say that Trogdor probably knows that this event is essentially when the Dragonborn are said to have broken free from captivity under chromatic dragons in a different plane and made their way here to Astion, and then subsequently founded the colony of Yordhall.
Oh.
So it's Yordhall's creation and their escape and all that.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds interesting. Yeah, we can take a look.
So Bungdo also pipes up.
I'm sure we could find some of those for you. Do you need to learn how to speak Celestial, or what? Right. We probably have a few thousand of those.
You could just give him an encyclopedia.
Okay. And you see her. She scribbles down some notes on a piece of parchment, and then just mutters something under her breath, and you see the parchment just disappear. And she just looks back at you, and says, "One moment, please."
While you're at it, do you have any books that tell about what you just did? I want to learn that.
Well, sort of a trade secret.
Right, but I am magical myself, and I produce my mage hand.
But I'm gnomish.
For the second time today, I turn and look at Bungdo and just give him the what the fuck look.
Isn't she a gnome?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, trade secret, we're both gnomes, maybe she'll tell me.
Oh.
She just kind of chuckles. Goes back to her work behind the desk.
Okay.
And yeah, so 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. I'm just kind of standing there. Is there anything you'd like to do while you're waiting?
I'm looking around, inspecting the building.
Is she still there?
Yeah.
So I'm just like tapping my foot for a second, and then I just kind of look around.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What? Might I be able to borrow some of those books? Perhaps the cooking and fishing ones? They don't seem all that important.
Unfortunately, it's policy to not allow just anyone to check books out of the Atheneum.
Well, I'm not just anyone. What do I have to do to get it checked out? Any credentials?
Well, yes, that would be a start. Probably need to speak with someone on the council, or maybe the liaison, someone of standing.
Are any of them here?
Well, not here. Probably in the building. So,
Where might you think I find them?
well, the council does meet in the council chambers.
And where's that?
Essentially at the other side of the building. You do need clearance to get in there as well, of course. So,
How the bloody hell can I talk to them?
do something to get their attention.
Oh, don't
This is
tell him
lame.
that.
I can produce flame.
Probably not the kind of attention that want to attract.
Ah, but if you wouldn't have got them.
But I have to be here.
Well, I can stay here for you.
No, you can't.
Try.
And then I just kind of end the conversation with just like a scowl and like stamping my foot. I'll
All right.
find out how to meet them later. Get their book checked out.
All right. And as this conversation kind of wraps up, you see a kind of scrawny-looking human emerge from the maze of bookshelves that kind of just sprawl out before you, and as yes, someone was looking for cooking and fishing and celestial and interdimensional travel and dragonborn.
That was all of us.
Right. Come with me.
I'll follow.
Fishing for dragonborn, then cooking them, and then using it to do a celestial spell of time travel.
Yeah.
Interdimensional travel.
Don't you know it's
Oh,
custom
and
for...
a book on Kenku.
Yeah. Yep. Don't you know it's customary for you to have an adventuring dragonborn with you? Kill him, cook him, and then eat him to interdimensionally time travel using a giant rock. It's like the SpongeBob episode of where he drove rock. Yeah, you do that.
All right. So yeah, he kind of guides you back to kind of a smaller room, like picture a study room, library. You know, like the long table, kind of like a small conference room setup. And he guides you in there, and on the table you see it's like see, you're probably talking about 7 different books laid out on the table. And he says, well, I will be right outside should you need anything. I hope you find the information that you seek. He didn't actually. He just led you to this room where the books were kind of laid out on the table.
So it's basically like a study
Yeah, but
room.
like he's the one that's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quickly ask, do you know any council members?
I mean, I
Yes,
know
ma'am.
of them.
I'd like to talk to one if you can arrange that. If not, it's fine. The other woman was being stubborn as hell about it.
He kind of just says, well, I don't really know any of them personally, so probably not a whole lot I could do for you.
Well, perhaps if you were able to get one, you could tell them that we needed you, and then if they get mad, they can get mad at us, and you get to meet them. It's a win-win. Good luck.
He kind of just closes the door and doesn't really even acknowledge. Yeah. So you are in a study room of sorts, with what you see are books on fishing and cooking, and dragonborn, and interdimensional travel, and celestial.
God damn it!
Break.
What? What?
Break.
Oh.
I guess I'll just start pouring through the, thumb through the Dragonborn book, see if I can find anything that pertains to any of this.
You read Draconic?
It's a book on Dragonborn. I don't think it necessarily would be in Draconic.
That's no value to me.
I grab the Celestial book and then ask for how much space is there on the table? Like, can we put the tablet down?
Yeah, I would say you could do that. It's a pretty sturdy looking table.
Put that tablet on the table. I want to look at it. Please?
Oh, I forgot to mention I grabbed the bag. Oh no, Maya's with us, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So she holds the bag open and lets Trogdor kind of haul the thing out and lay it down on the table.
Just drop it like a big heavy book. Slam! No, I'm just kidding.
The tablet cracks and the world explodes.
No, I'll gently set it down.
All right. And so let's see. Togar, you were going through the Dragonborn history book, yes?
Yeah, I was just kind of thumbing through it, trying to table of contents, yada 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 yada, the Dragonborn, whatever the hell that event was.
The Dragonborn Emancipation.
Yes, that one.
By the way,
Okay.
as I'm translating, I'm writing this on a piece of paper.
Okay. So Togar, let's have you go ahead and make. Let's call that intelligence check.
A what?
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Well done.
No problem.
All right. So, yeah, skimming through this book, essentially get caught up on the events of how the Dragonborn supposedly came to be in the position that they're in today. You also... Oh, okay. Just disappear on us. You also come across some kind of ancillary details, so to speak, about the general events of the emancipation. One of them, in particular, does mention the name Yormorn.
Oh.
And while the very end of the story is sort of left up to, well, just kind of unresolved in the history book that you're reading, what you do know is that Yormorn, being initially a follower of Bahamut, around the time of the Emancipation, actually betrayed his own people and attempted to essentially turn them back over to the control of the chromatic dragons and Tiamat. And part of the scheme was to steal some artifact that had enabled the escape of the Dragonborn to the world of Astia.
You said it was steal the artifact. What was that?
That enabled the escape of the Dragonborn to Astion in the first place.
Okay. Okay, cool. I got that. At this point, I'm saying, hey, Trogdor, I think that's a, I think that was what enabled the Dragonborn to come to Astion.
Is Trogdor back yet?
Oh, that's right. Well, we'll assume that I say that to him said that to him, and wait for his reaction.
All right. In the meantime,
I'll continue reading.
okay. And Bungdo is working on translating everything as best he can.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, in general, since you know Celestial already, the book isn't a massive help to you. However, yeah, you are able to sort of glean a few more details about the nature of the tablet and the carvings etched into it. Okay, we'll catch you up in a minute there, bro. So yes, you gather that this is, in a sense, a means of interplanar transport, and that it primarily is used to gain entrance to the City of Doors, which, given that it's in a sense, a geographical name, it's not necessarily a word celestial, but roughly translated, it kind of matches up with the common word for sigil.
Sigil?
No.
Okay.
And you think this may be the name of the place.
Of a place. I assume...
Of the place. The name of the City of Doors.
Oh, the city. Oh, okay. Is Sigil?
Well, best Bungdo can tell.
I take it Bungdo relayed all this.
Well, I mean, it's on the script, so you guys can just come over and read it as I'm.
Okay. So you're literally just like translating it
Yep,
and...
as best I can.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, mind you, there are a number of like glyphs on this that are kind of just worn off due to the
there's
passage of
gaps.
time, and yeah, but
I can translate
you're kind of
more.
gleaning what you can.
So in the meantime, I look over at Trogdor and say, Trogdor, I think that tablet is what originally helped the Dragonborn get to Astion.
Yep.
It says right here, and I point in the book, that Yormorn actually attempted to stop the Dragonborn from coming over. And he tried to hand your people back to Tiamat and to the Chromatic Dragons. And his whole goal was to steal the exact artifact that you have. So
That explains why everything sounded familiar.
yes. So Yormorn was actually around the time of the Dragonborn. It was what the Dragonborn something.
Emancipation.
Emancipation, that's right.
Yep. Ooh.
So that would explain why he was undead and why Bahamut wanted him trapped and wanted us to end him. So just be warned that you probably will have others wanting that as well.
Well, if Yormorn was the best, then I don't think we have anything to fear from.
You never know. That's just a warning. And I will continue kind of looking through that book a little bit just to see if there's anything else that I can glean of usefulness from it.
All right. I mean, essentially, what you're able to pick up is that so this tablet, it's even in the history books, it's not really known where this artifact came from, first place, or how the Dragonborn actually came into possession of.
Huh.
And so it's always remained, in large part, a mystery. In fact, the entire circumstance surrounding the Dragonborn emancipation is a bit spotty in terms of history, as interdimensional events tend to be, I suppose.
None of this sounds like I don't know more in-depth information about any of this.
More in-depth, probably not. I would say all the stuff that Togar is learning right now is not necessarily news to you. At least apart from the kind of origins of the tablet and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, yeah, the history of your people, you kind of know all that stuff.
I think we should try and get a same book but written in Draconic. Maybe there's translation error.
Translation error, it's actually Yormorn is French for Trogdor.
French. Yes.
Yep, so Trogdor is actually Yormorn. But yeah. Alright, I've learned enough out of that. Yeah, there's not much else I can really learn from that. What are you finding out, Bungdo? Read anything?
So I am finished with the translation, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in the time it took them to essentially learn the history of Dragonborn kind, you were able to make your way through the translation of the tablet.
Okay, so now, since that's pretty much done, I'm looking through the cookbook and the fishing book and writing down all the notes I can.
Okay.
Since we can't take it out yet.
I'm actually using Mage Hand to help him. Like, I summon Mage Hand and I put a quill in it and have it writing down stuff next to him.
Okay.
I look at it and I'm just kind of like looking at it for a second, like 5 seconds, just thinking. And then I take its paper and move it over, and then I move one book in front of it, and then I go to town on the other book.
Alright, I will move the mage hand and the paper over and start reading and
Is
just
the
copying
mage
it down.
hand corporeal or ethereal?
I think I can physically
Corporeal,
hold it.
you touch. Ethereal, you can't.
Yeah. I mean, I can make it either one. I believe.
Okay. Corporeal then.
Yes.
I reach out and I just like pat it on the back. And like I scratch it like I would a dog behind its ears.
Okay. But I help him. So. And then.
All right.
Trogdor, what are you doing?
I'm curious, actually. Is the mage hand like able? Is there like the ability to make it just like conscious, like a minion as opposed to a hand, or is it like only? Something
No,
you
I control it completely. But like, I could summon Mage Hand and like tap you on the other shoulder, and then when you turn around, I could have it like swing around to the other side and stuff. Now, if I could do 2 Mage Hands, I could have them clap. It'd be a hell of a distraction. Like, summon 2 Mage Hands somewhere else and just
have 2 people summon it and then have them clap.
oh, we need to do this.
Brown.
Anyway.
You want to do anything? Sorry, we like.
Sorry.
We should try and get like a book in the original language. I would assume it would be Draconic, so it's about my people.
So you just gotta go out and wander the library?
Probably go back to that front desk where the guy was that we originally ordered the books.
And if you recall, there is the guy just outside the study room.
Oh, he's just staying there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask him for it.
All right. And yeah, you see him kind of pull out a small, looks like a pad of paper, and just kind of scribble something into it, rip it out, mutter something under his breath, and gone.
I'll poke my head out and say, hey, by the way, I have this ornate dagger here. Can you... Is there... I don't know if there's a way I can figure out religions of the North. Or, ornate something to do... I don't know. And I kind of explained to him about the whole encounter with the worms and that big... was it an obelisk?
It was just this large, almost like a vertical stone slab with a series of glowing runes carved into it.
Okay, I explained that to him and said, yeah, somehow it's tied to this dagger. So, do you have anything of religion in that area or anything, the history of that area?
All right. As you explain that to him, he kind of asks for as much detail as you can provide.
Yep. As
it is kind of a at this point, kind of a broad topic.
Yeah.
Shucks. Okay. So yeah, with all the details you're able to provide, knowing the general location and the fact that the dagger kind of seemed to stop drawing you toward anything as soon as events in that cave happened. He thinks for a moment and scribbles something down, and again just kind of poofs the note off. And within a few minutes, another one of the librarians comes back around, another pair of books, and hands them off. This guy brings them into the study room, and actually takes one of them and kind of proceeds to leaf through it. And looking over at you, he says, and so you saw these worms or whatever they were.
Yeah, they look like this, and I'll reach in the bag of holding and pull the jar of one with one in it.
And then take the cork off and release it?
No, I'm just gonna pull it out. Is it still alive? And I'll shake the glass.
Yeah, it's still in there, like wriggling around.
And I'll show it to him.
All right. Uh, so he sees that and it kind of like shies away from it a bit, and continues leafing through the book. Says, "All right. Well, there's the easy part and there's the hard. The easy part, I tend to believe, knowing that there was some sort of necromancy going on there. That dagger probably contained the soul of someone tied to such thing, or at least part of that soul. That's the easy part. Hard part is knowing what exactly all of this. He kind of shuffles through some other stuff. You see, just kind of peeking over his shoulder, there's he's flipping through this massive tome of what looks like just tons upon tons of information about necromancy. And
While he's doing this, can I mention that we got attacked by a Bodak shortly after in the same cave, so if that helps any. There you go.
and he looks over at you and a Bodak?
Yes, we adventure quite a bit.
And for those of you who are kind of initiated in this stuff, the more time you spend around this library, the more he kind of strikes you as the Taliesin Jaffe type.
Okay.
For all that entails, very much interested in the dark and twisted, and like he's in his element right now. He's like terrified but excited that all of this creepy dark knowledge that he has is actually coming into play.
Okay, so we do pick up on this though.
Yeah, I would say at this point, I mean, he seems to have quite an encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff.
Okay.
And he's just kind of flipping through this book, like almost like he knows where things are, having read through almost the entire book probably already.
Okay. Well, I will feed that knowledge and explain everything. Seeing that his such interest in a Bodak and such, I will give him the entire story of it from a first-hand perspective, because I was one of the first things the Bodak like reacted to, other than Maya.
Mm-hmm.
So. And,
okay.
Yeah, just go full detail about everything that happened.
All right.
So he's just like super interested in them.
He's super geeked, yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. And as he's like, he pauses to take this in, and then every little detail you bring up, you see him like flip to a different section and kind of, just finger tracing every line, looking for the information that he's trying to recall. And eventually he, let's see. All right. He stops mid-read and flips to what looks like an entry. I mean, there are a few crude illustrations to kind of, drive home some points and stuff. This looks like pre-magic as the world currently understands it. Like early forefathers of different magical disciplines kind of material. And
ancient magic?
he flips through a couple more pages and shows you a, again, very crude drawing of, it's like a sort of undead thing, and you do see worms that look to be kind of digging into and emerging from its flesh. And toward the top of the page, sort of as a header, you just see the name Caius.
Caius. Alright, yeah. And that's what I would assume is a monster? Or is it a specific name?
So as he kind of shows you that, says, I think this is what you're looking for. He goes on to kind of rattle off the first paragraph or so of the entry, which discusses an avid follower, devotee of Orcus by the name of Caius,
Alright.
who was in his time the most powerful necromancer ever known to the world of Asti.
Did he ever raise a family?
A rather large family.
Quite a large family.
And you said he was the most powerful necromancer in Astian
Yes.
for his time?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
And through his dealings with Orcus, he sought to bring about what he called an age of worms, which he would accomplish through the means of these sickly green worms that would spread his curse. And he sought to essentially contaminate the entire world and remake it in Orcus's image, so to speak. Just a sprawling land of undead, with him sort of at the reins.
Well, now.
What does that mean for the tablet that we saw then? Or not the tablet, the giant stone. I'm asking.
You're cutting out like a motherfucker. What?
There we go. Okay, my mic was being stupid.
It's still being stupid.
Is it?
Now it's not.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why it was being stupid.
Okay, yeah, you're good now.
What I would like to ask him is, what is with the tablet thing that we saw, the giant stone tablet?
So he keeps kind of reading through this entry and flips to the next page, and toward the end, there's a discussion about how he was eventually defeated, partially by a betrayal from his own ranks of necromancers. And eventually he was sealed in this massive monolithic stone tablet, the location of which was unknown to those of the modern era.
Well, looks like he got out. And I say that to the kid. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, continue.
There's not a whole lot more about Caius listed in the book there, other than the I guess from a mechanical standpoint, what you're able to glean is worms do effectively carry the undead curse that afflicts all of his victims. And so anyone who is infected with the worms and then dies is promptly reanimated as a particular type of undead known as a spawn of Caius.
Alright.
And there's also talk of a number of sort of undead monstrosities that he had a hand in creating, or at least dreaming up with the help of Orcus himself.
Alright.
Though the details of those are largely lost to the passage of time.
Alright. Then I will look at him and say, well, that leads me to believe possibly this dagger was of that other necromancer. Do you know what his name is? Or who he was?
And he kind of goes pouring through the footnotes in the story about Caius.
Also, you might want to have them bring some literature on Charybdis as well.
Well, at this point, I guess I have to take a break because somebody is. Well, yeah.